throughout the day. Thank you, Melinda and Dustin, for the kind introduction and for your tireless efforts with IGF USA. I'd like to start off my day by saying a couple of words about Fiona Alexander, who you all know and have worked with over the years. As you may know, Fiona has worked at NTIA as an intern, starting as an intern in 1997. That squarely puts her in the Windows 95 era. So while she is currently spending some time vacationing in France, I wish you would join me and my NTIA colleagues next time you see her, giving her a warm congratulations on her next phase of her career. She is a dear friend, and she will be missed around the office. Thank you. She's in France. Clap loud. Okay, so for those of you not familiar with NTIA, we are the principal advisor to the White House on telecom and technology policy. For decades, we have advocated for the multi-stakeholder approach to the internet governance. We believe that this is the most effective way to address complex policy issues, bringing together a diverse array of folks with expertise and perspective on the issues. We understand the power of the bottom-up approach and what that can do to forming decisions. They help create sustainable, adaptable solutions. I like to talk to about NTIA as a convening authority. We work hard to build relationships with key stakeholders. This builds the trust that allows us to lead these complex decisions. We have run numerous multi-stakeholder processes in the US. These typically lead to the creation of best practices and codes of conduct. The results enable industry to take leadership in solving difficult problems where regulation would be ill-fitting or premature. For example, over the past 4 years, NTIA has pioneered a novel form of public-private partnerships for cybersecurity. We were the first government agency to directly address the challenges around vulnerability disclosures. We invited security researchers, known as the good hackers, into a discussion with software vendors and their customers. This collaboration helped everyone to identify shared goals. We helped lead government efforts to address the risks from an insecure internet. The objectives were straightforward. Let's make sure that we take devices and make sure they can be fixed. So we are anchored to our technical and policy discussions around patchability. We are now running a process to address the risks in our software supply chain by promoting transparency around third-party components. We're helping industry understand and use what's called a software bill of materials, also known as SBOM. As an aside, if you're going to have these types of arcane technical discussions, I would suggest that you create acronyms like the SBOM, because it's an easy way to liven up conversations. We just drop SBOMs in the middle of talks just to get people perked up a little bit. With all of our processes, stakeholders lead the way. We make our engagements transparent, open, and consensus-based. This type of agile policymaking provides a way for stakeholders to achieve a common outcome. Of course, not all policymaking at NTIA goes through a multi-stakeholder process. When the White House directed us to help develop the administration's data privacy policy, we began by talking with all sorts of groups. We held meetings to better understand what the problems are, what we can agree upon, and how we can move forward. We put out a request for comment and a proposed privacy approach, and the public responded. We received more than 200 responses. There were thoughtful comments from a range of individuals, industries, companies, and organizations. We're grateful for the time and energies these groups put into their comments. We heard a sense of urgency, a desire for American leadership on this issue. We saw broad industry consensus that we can't have a patchwork regulatory landscape in the United States. We also heard that we should take care not to harm the data that flows between countries and the digital economy. We finally received many constructive comments on our proposed risk and outcomes-based approach. Our sister agency at NIST, the National Institutes of Standards and Technology, is leading that work and is gathering public input for a draft framework that should come out in April. While we're talking about privacy, I would like to briefly mention Europe's GDPR and the impact on the ability to access domain name registration data. This information is critical for law enforcement, cybersecurity, and for intellectual property enforcement. NTIA is committed to working with ICANN, the multi-stakeholder process on this issue. We need to develop policies and ultimately a solution that complies with GDPR and preserves the legitimate access to registration information. We have to get this done. NTIA is also keeping an eye on emerging technologies like blockchain, quantum computing, autonomous vehicles, drones, and AI. We are looking to participating in the ITU's 6th World Telecommunications Policy Forum in 2 years. This forum is an excellent opportunity to exchange views about emerging technologies. I encourage you all to participate. In another venue, the OECD, NTIA was instrumental in getting the organization's 42 member countries to approve a new international agreement for artificial intelligence. The OECD is unique. Its members share democratic values and commitment to innovation. The agreement includes 5 broad principles to guide the development and use of AI. These include promoting inclusive growth, transparency, and accountability. The OECD agreement aligns with President Trump's executive order on AI. The order included a call to work with international partners to ensure our continued innovation is consistent with American values. Finally, I want to share what NTIA is doing to expand access and adoption to broadband and the other connected technologies. Earlier this month, I spoke at a conference on smart cities and communities that we organized with NIST and the Department of Homeland Security. This is an important area of work. At NTIA, we are joining efforts within the United States and around the globe on smart city concepts. We're bringing practitioners together, help develop and share best practices. We use the multi-stakeholder approach to help remove barriers to deployment and increase access to smart technologies. Separately, we're continuing our work to update the National Broadband Availability Map as directed by Congress. An initial 8 states will provide data and inputs to the map to help policymakers around the country determine where expansions are needed. Broadband availability maps let you know where coverage lags and then can identify where the natural market or cultural barriers and where policymakers need to include digital inclusion. The initial map will have a nationwide data for every state combined with state-level data from the 8 states. But this is just a first step. We are open to any and all innovative proposals out in the public, and we expect and seek participation from additional states, territories, and federally recognized tribes that have broadband programs or related data collection efforts. So before I go, I want to acknowledge that we have to face some real challenges in internet policy. The internet is impacting our daily lives more than ever before, from connecting people and families to improving access to markets and education to enhancing the way we shop, share, and learn. We are privileged to live in this age. You should all be proud of the role you have played in collectively shaping and governing this complex environment that we call the internet. As we step into this new era of connected devices, smart services, and AI, we must increase our vigilance. With great invention comes an equally great demand for smart policy solutions to address the complex, unintended consequences that comes with tech advancement. We must work harder than ever to confront these challenges. We need to quickly and effectively diagnose problems and find a way to fix them. Governance in the new era will require us to be smarter, more actionable, more accountable. In a world where everything is connected, from toasters to the global network supporting finance, energy, and transportation, there is much at stake. Since the early days of the internet, NTIA has not shied away from confronting the hard problems. We do not plan to stop now. We're taking on issues like cyber, supply chain security, secure 5G competition, and protecting American privacy online. We must define outcomes that will work for markets, permit innovation to prosper. And we must work with our partners and allies and all key stakeholders to get this done. I invite you to work with us. Our door is always open. So again, thank you so much for having me today. And again, for Dustin, thank you for dragging out my painful teenage years. Thank you.